So I'm doing something a little bit different this time. This is going to be a new series that I'm calling Let's Rant. Like you can probably guess, every now and again, I'm going to have a rant. And, like Robin Thicke and online abuse, you're going to sit there and take it. Whether you like it or not. Got it? Fucking brilliant. Oh, yeah, I may swear on these ones, so let's get this shit started, shall we? Okay, so Splatoon 2. It's great. It's a bunch of fun. It's lovely. It's amazing. I mean, who doesn't love finding out what would happen if you gave a kid a weapon and LSD? But what is up with people not playing objective? I mean, oi, dickheads, it's turf war. Split up and spread the ink around. I mean, you guys are so close together, I can't tell if you're spraying ink or committing statutory rape. How is it I'm painting the whole of bareback pump track by myself, get totally bukakeed on by their entire team, and you guys still haven't painted the spawn point yet? It is literally the first thing you see. Oh, and speaking of unfair deaths, how many times am I going to get killed by the person I just killed after I killed them? Maybe we'll get a Ghostbusters DLC pack, the only marketing ploy in a video game that'll also double as a free exorcism. If Japanese players are good enough to not let something as simple as their own death stopping them confirming that kill, how long is it going to be before they make Splatoon 2 their national blood sport? Hey, at least the posters will be good. You know what else irks me about Splatoon 2? How the amount of time I put into the first one means all of jack shit for the second one. I'm a Splatoon OG, right? I put in more than 100 hours. I went through the pain of a bad ability roll with Spike 1,000,001 times. I watched the Lunar Blaster go from bad to good, and the Aeris Ray go from brilliant to fucking terrible. Heck, Splatoon OG was literally the first game I talked about on this channel. Back before I had legs. But hey, 2 years and a dead-ass console later, all my abilities are gone, and I've got to reorder my gear from an app that makes WhatsApp look like Tony Stark's basement. I mean, I'll admit, I only got up to level 33 in the last game, so it's not like I was top of Moray Towers or anything. But that's still 33 levels and 340 pounds more I've put in than all these other late squids to the party. So I at least deserve some kind of legacy code to get some of my stuff back. And something else I said 2 years ago that I am still saying today. It really bothers me that the individuality through fashion element to the game is constantly at odds with the abilities mechanic. And by that I mean, you'll never have a combination of clothes that looks good with abilities that you like using. It's so weird having a backstory where the characters are all about staying fresh for unique fashion choices. But in practice, you're more likely to look and fight like a one-man Village People tribute act than you will find an outfit that looks and plays good. Throw in ability generation being a total lottery, and there not being a regular way to get super sea snails, and you've got a gear system more fucked than the campus police officer's golf cart after stuffing the engine with his own collection of Dora the Explorer print boxer shorts. Okay, and here's something people have been complaining about since Splatoon OG. I didn't actually mind this back then, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it because, to be fair, it is fucking ridiculous you can't change your weapon/gear in the player lobby. Heck, I still don't even care about that. I'd just like to be able to leave the lobby. Getting into a regular battle shouldn't feel like entering a committed relationship with a countdown timer less random than a dog dressed like Auntie Pam while its paws are taped to a steering wheel. If a few names appear in the list with the same couple letters and a punctuation mark, I've got enough street smarts to know that when gang signs start getting thrown around, you should probably vacate the area. And it'd be nice if that didn't mean enter sleep mode. And speaking of things I should be able to skip out on, let's talk about the stage announcement, shall we? If The Legend of Zelda has managed to work out that I don't need to stop and have a chat every time I pick up an apple, why hasn't Splatoon realised I don't need a lesbian couple weirder than Justin and Selena to tell me which stages are on, or if Grizzco is fucking hiring or not? Oh, really? You think Judd is a time traveller? Okay, no one cares! And while we're here, Perla Marina? Callie and Marie? Get ready to mash that dislike button because these girls are the most unnecessary thing to happen in video games since the N64 controller's third leg. Back in the first game, Callie Marie's only purpose in life seemed to be lengthening the time between me turning on the game and me unloading some hot steaming ink on a child's face. Every time doing the same thing. The first would say the feed line to whet your appetite, and the second one would say a punchline drier than Annie's vagina. That alone doesn't constitute a quirky personality. It's just how jokes work. When the final Splatfest was Callie versus Marie, I honestly didn't understand the question. They'd always been presented as a pair, with neither having any discernible qualities over the other. I mean, I genuinely think the only reason Marie won is because Tide Goes Out is, without a doubt, an absolute banger. If Callie and Marie had never existed, Splatoon OG would be essentially the same. If the final Splatfest went the other way, the only thing that would change in Splatoon 2 is the amount of exclamation marks in the dialogue. At best, they're a progression device, in a game with less story than a blind man's library. And at best, Pearl and Marina are much needed equality representations in video games of people of colour. And people with Down syndrome. Although I do admit, it is pretty cool that Marina actually scratches the deck when the stage comes on. But what really annoys me about Splatoon 2 is how much talk there was between players and reviewers about whether it counts as a sequel. Of course it's a bloody sequel! Why is that even a question? So what if Nintendo were in a position where the former title was on an underselling console, therefore the follow-up needed to cater to the few who played the first, as well as the many who didn't? Every single sequel in the history of ever takes that into account, whether people played the previous. It's why after 20 years, Pokemon's still showing us how to ram a ball into a woodpecker's face. I'd really like to know what list of criteria needs to be fulfilled for the naysayers to think Splatoon 2 is a sequel rather than an update. A new single player or story mode? Check. Updated graphics for newer hardware resulting in a much more fluid visual experience? Check. Mechanical tweaks and upgrades to the original formula leading to incredible technical high action firefights where no encounter is ever the same? Check. New stages, items, abilities? Check, check, fucking check. Asking if Splatoon 2 is just an update from the original is like buying a dog after the family hamster died and wondering whether you should name it Nibbles HD Deluxe. Rant over.